Hey everybody, welcome to episode 27 of It's Just Bodybuilding. I'm your co-host, Big Ron Partlow, and of course I'm here with my fellow co-host in crime, Dusty Hanshaw. How you doing?
Living the dream, man. I'm ready? I'm ready to get this thing rolling, man.
We got Coach's Corner coming up on It's Just Bodybuilding. So Dusty, 27 episodes.
And they're still listening. Phenomenal.
Yeah, apparently. And it's
the number's actually climbing, and my mother only has one way to listen, so she only counts for one.
Yes, of course. Remember, everyone, subscribe and like and share and comment. It's great, too. And remember, It's Just Bodybuilding comes out every Wednesday. And we have fantastic news for you Spotify people. We are now on Spotify. So it's pretty hard to avoid us now. You really have no excuse.
That's true. And you're doing your cardio. You got every way to listen, watch, whatever you're into. You
know what? I figure if JP's listening to The Lion King, then maybe there's someone listening to us while they're squatting. Do you ever think about that?
An emotional squat. But it could be weird depending on our topic while you're doing it.
What if mid-set, we start talking about something completely ridiculous? Might be.
I would have a hard time with that because there might be some humor going on, and I'm trying to lock in,
I can't wait till someone's like, I put you guys on for arm day. It's a good arm day. Had a good pump. I don't know why my guy just sounded like an Italian mobster. Was that?
Yeah, you changed him all the. Yeah, I like how whoever we are being, we change.
Put you on for arms. Not bad. Okay.
It's so terrible that you had to create a voice just for that. It couldn't be you. That'd be weird.
I don't know. I guess that's growing up watching The Simpsons. Everyone's got to be a character.
Agreed. Simpsons. What a great show.
Or South Park. Everyone has to have something ridiculous about them.
Oh, God.
When you do impressions of people, do you always change the voice?
I always make sure they're terrible, and it's not on purpose. It's just I suck at it, But I go all in. I commit, you know what I mean? If I'm going to do this, especially women, you ever notice you give them, the most high-pitched, weird... I don't actually know any women that sound like the woman that I am when I'm doing her voice.
Right.
Especially in our industry, I definitely don't know any that sound high pitched.
I think the standard.
Sorry.
I think the standard for an impression of a woman is Bill Burr, and I do any female voice. I kind of do like what Bill Burr does, where he's like, "Well, I was thinking that maybe we should get another dog." I always talk like that. And I don't mean to. It's just because that's
I can just see Emily's like, when the fuck have I ever sounded like that?
Right. But that's just how Bill Burr. You can always tell when he goes into female characters because the voice just goes straight there.
It's as far as it can go. I love it.
Yes. So what's going on? You're squatting 405 for sets of 20.
I told that the other day. It was just random. What happened was I decided the squats were open. We only have 3 platforms at Independence Gym. Right. And I come around the corner and they're all open. And I was like, I guess I should squat.
Right.
So I'd already done a couple movements. So I was like, fuck it. And I haven't squatted in who knows how long. So I said, fuck it. And when I got to 405, as soon as I unracked it, I was like, I don't know if I want to really go any heavier than this today since it's day 1. So I'm just going to do 20. And that was it. And then when I was doing it, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I could feel it at the end, I was trying to just pop them out because I'm still, when you haven't squatted for a minute, dropping into the hole, you almost have to kind of let it fall to get to parallel. So, they weren't the prettiest things ever, but banged them out. And then literally when I got done, I was like, as I'm breathing hard and I'm thinking about prep, I'm like, I'm going to make this a goal, see how much I can get for 20. And I think at the moment, 495 seems like a pretty steep goal.
Right. That's a lot.
So I'm going to try to do that.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Platz did, what was it, 525 for 23 reps?
Yeah. And that's a ton. I remember I knew his 495, or I mean his 405 was like 26 or something like that. But he was deep squat, controlled. I had somebody actually comment on my thing. He was like, "You always talk about a 4 count negative." He's like, "Is that what that was?" I'm like, "Oh fuck no." That might have been a 2.
Right. You know, when Tom Platz gave his seminar at the gym, because I already know quite a bit about him. I mean, I'm sort of been reading, I've been around forever, so I know the kind of the Tom Platz story.
You grew up with him.
But I didn't realize that he learned how to squat in an Olympic lifter's gym, and that's why he always wore those shoes, because they told him that's how you squat. And that's why he squatted with that close stance with the toes turned out a bit, because that's how they do with like the clean and jerk.
Right.
That front squat they do, right? It's like that narrow stance like thing they do. So that's why he squatted like that. Was it as Olympic lifter squatting? Right.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Plus, once you get into a shoe like that, it's hard to get away. I was using the lifts for everything for a minute. And Jason, my PT, was like, "You got to get out of those now. Like, you can squat with them, but nothing else." And it was like a mind fuck.
So was it overkill? Is that what you mean? Like you were stressing your knees out?
Well, actually, what it was he didn't want me using them because when I started adding the bands, he's like, for example, on a leg press, he's like, you're going to push the weight into your toes. And when you push that much weight with that much effort into your toes, he's like, something else is going to give. It's going to be a calf, or it's going to be something along those lines. Is going to take on way too much stress at some point. So even if you think you're pushing off your heels, I mean, you know how it feels when you push a band that's heavy and you got a shit ton of weight on there.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you're just pushing the weight. You're no longer even thinking about where from.
Every single thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to get away from them. And the whole reason I started wearing them was I had poor ankle mobility in my right ankle. And that's fixed now.
Right.
But the first day back, it was like, I'm watching my heels thinking they're going to lift up, you know what I mean? All that shit. And everything was good. So now people can stop stressing about me not wearing my Chucks enough. Because I get a lot of comments like, "Where are the Chucks?" I'm like,
right. See, I tell people that you are upset that I started wearing Chucks, and you're like, "Ron stole my fucking Chucks. I'm gonna fucking switch shoes."
That's valid, because I'm pretty much the only guy that wears Chucks on the planet.
I call them just. I said, someone said the other day, "Why do you like Chucks so much?" And I go, "They're disposable shoes."
For sure.
You just get a new pair every 6 months. Just get a whole bunch of new ones, and you still spend less money.
Oh God, it's not even close. That's the cool thing, is when they finally made something that was inexpensive, that also people think is cool. Mm-hmm. Because I'm cheap, so the fact that it fell into a cool category had nothing to do with anything. I'm like, oh, $50, I like those. Yeah.
My main thing with the Chucks, when I finally went, because I wore Chucks and stuff when I used to freestyle ride when I was a teenager. The whole skate culture, BMX culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And air walks and fucking all that shit.
DC, did you ever wear DC shoes?
No, I never had DC. They were always too narrow for my foot.
Yeah.
Fucking killed me. Same with Vans. I couldn't wear Vans. Right. Vans were like fucking.
And Vans, they, especially the ones that didn't have laces or anything. You had to jam your fucking foot in there.
I got like my foot's like 6 inches wide. It's a big big farmer Flintstone thing. So I need a croc.
Jose always says I have Fred Flintstone feet. He's like, what the fuck is that? Looks like a mallet of some sort.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about the Chucks is that, and I tell this to everyone, I got so used to my feet being chronically hot because I was wearing Jordans all the time.
Oh God, the non-breathable shoe.
And then when I started wearing the Chucks, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how fucking hot my feet were. Yep. And how not hot they are now.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I wore my Jordans to the gym the other day, and, about halfway through my workout, I felt like I had heaters.
In your shoes?
I broke those, I don't know if you know about this, because in Canada, but you snap those heat sticks and you put them in your boots, right? Those
Someone snapped them in your boot, but the problem was the boot was a Jordan that can't breathe.
Yeah, just funny how noticeable it is. But what you said there actually takes me to my first topic, which was we didn't even plan that. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, because, when we do the Coach's Corner episodes, we always get a chance to talk about training.
Always.
Because we don't talk about training with half our guests.
We get less and less, especially if we know them.
Yeah. So one of the things I had was just that I noticed that sometimes, I mean, I'm big on execution. I think execution is extremely important. Obviously, like you have to do exercises correctly.
Right.
But I got a little obsessed with perfect, maximal execution of everything over the years. I've had little phases where I would get a little too obsessed with execution,
right.
and I would wind up getting some kind of injury. And so I had a question the other day. Someone was telling me they were having shoulder problems, and I was talking about what they were doing. And one of the first things I asked them was, what do you do for triceps? Because the pain he was describing was the same pain I had. And I was like, and he's like, oh, I do this and this and this. And I picked it out. I took kind of a guess, but an educated guess, picked it out, and he stopped doing it and shoulder got better. And I was like, fuck. So I'm not the only one. And what it was, you know, like the perfect tricep contraction is actually behind you.
Yeah.
Right. So just because that's the shortest you can get the long head of your tricep, right, is to move your hand past your hip out behind you. But does that mean that's necessarily good to load your shoulder joint in that position?
Right.
Right. So sometimes we think, okay, the shortest the muscle can get is here, and the longest it can get is here. So I'm going to do the rep like absolutely the fullest possible range. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your shoulders are going to like you.
Right. Yeah.
And
some other body parts.
Yeah. So here you are elevating your heels, wearing those shoes on everything.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden it's like, well, geez, now your knees are now taking, like, over the course of those workouts, taking a lot more load.
Right.
So that's where we always get back to, you know, like when I asked Joe Bennett about, you know, how much heel elevation on a safety bar squat would be like maximal quad. And he goes, well, how old are you?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know, you already tore your quad once. So do you want to load, you know, like there's so many other factors. And I wanted to remind people of that because, you know, when I told this guy, I was like, quit doing those like perfect, maximal, optimal contraction.
Right.
Even though that's a single arm cable movement with 50 pounds, that was what was hurting his shoulder.
Right. Which makes sense. I mean, and I think the other thing is because you're doing both, you know, same on the stretch. I like the rubber band theory with triceps. Like, you know, if going to here is fully stretched, well, if I let it actually drift, the elbow go forward, it's a little bit more stretch.
It's a long head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to do that. But it's funny because I've had people watch the videos and then they'll say to me, hey, when I do that, it hurts my elbow. What should I do? And I'm like, knock it off.
Right.
Like,
Don't do it.
You know, because that's, I mean, it's terrible, but there's nothing magic about it. And I think it's interesting that we do get caught in that thing, especially if you see someone who has a body part that you want and they say, X is my favorite exercise.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that must be the reason that he's got that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like to say that X is his favorite exercise, but it's not the exercise that made that body part great. It's the fact that he loves that exercise. So he fucking goes nuts on it and he got really good at it.
Right.
And he got really strong at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because if you love an exercise, being progressive on it's going to be, well, not easier. Nothing's easier, but more mentally easier, funner.
It's enjoyable. Yeah, it's something you want to chase. I mean, that makes total sense to me. I think you can definitely get off track chasing an exercise that's not for you.
Yeah. I had a talk with a guy at the gym a few weeks ago. He was like telling me how, man, I'm just, you know, he's in his 40s and he's talking to me how he's just struggling for the past year to get back in the squat rack.
Right.
He's like, I just fucking, you know, I can bent row and I can shoulder press and I can hack squat and I just every time I get back in the squat rack, something goes wrong with my back or my rib or my lower back or my hip. And I just said, have you entertained the idea of just not squatting anymore?
And he's like
you're already 40. Like what, you've done 1,000 sets of squats. He squatted 5 plates back in the day when he was on the juice, you know, on the sauce back in the late 80s, you know, whatever it was. I guess he's my age.
That's the problem.
So he's older than me.
Everybody has to link in that, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to squat. You hear that all the time from people. Why don't you squat? And it's like, I don't need to.
Yeah. I had two more that were clear examples of this. So one is I was having all these hip pains in the front of my hip.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it kept coming and going. I just couldn't find the trigger for it. And then one day it finally stood out to me. Every once in a while I would do leg extensions. Right. But I would try to, again, take that quad to the ridiculously shortened position. So I wouldn't just do a good
almost hyperextending your knee.
I would do that, but I would also really stick my butt out behind me and lean forward. Right. So tilt the pelvis back and then lean forward. So you shorten that upper quad that crosses the hip joint. So I'd just be shortening it to the max. Mm-hmm. Bingo. I did it one day. We did a bunch of hard sets and then a strip set. And the next day my hip was fucked.
And then the light bulb went.
And I was like, ping. It's those fucking leg extensions where I'm taking it to maximum shortened range.
Right.
So the next week we did leg extensions and I leaned back a little bit, almost like I was trying to get a bit more stretch.
Right.
Fucking hip was 100% fine.
And that's what I think is funny is because I actually do the opposite. I'm more obsessed about the stretch than the contraction.
Oh yeah, the stretch is more important, I think. Yeah.
So, and I think that with that though, I've almost gotten to the point where I'm like, good enough. On the contraction, because sometimes I see videos we did dips one day, and I was like, that works for me, but I'm not gonna post it.
Right.
Because the range was so short at the top. I literally was like,
were you just at the top? It was a top half dip?
Extreme stretch on the bottom, staying vertical though.
So your tries are getting.
I was nowhere near straightening my elbow. I remember looking. I was like, fuck, that's even shorter than I thought. But my tries, I can feel them just exploding. So I'm like, all right, that's fine for me. But if I were to, I would never describe that movement to a client that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if it's also how much can you contract in a range. You know what I mean? Some people have to go all the way to lockout to get something to really contract. And then some of us, you can just make the muscle fire,
Yeah. Another one I did was I was doing the hammer seated calf where you just push straight out.
Yep.
And I was doing single legs. And, I was thinking, well, what's the craziest thing I can do to get my calf activated? And I was going to the maximum peak contraction, but then also flexing my quad. Right. Jesus. Because I saw a video, actually it was Pekulski who was doing it on a video, and he was talking about how the knee and the calf tie together and how that's a crazy load on the calf. Right. Because you also get the craziest stretch, right? If your knee is very, very straight, or, as long as you're not using a crazy load on a lock knee, obviously, but you only got a plate and a half a side if you're doing single foot, right?
Yeah. So you need sort of range.
Yeah. So I was doing those, and again, it's not even a heavy weight because it's so hard it's mechanically so weak, right? So you're in a crazy stretch and then this crazy contraction, and was I having these weird pains in the back of my knee, fucked up. It wasn't my quad, I could squat, but something in the back of my knee was just so stiff and sore, and so I quit doing those. And so this is all this fucking mental masturbation stuff. Right. This goes back to the sledgehammer versus the scalpel.
Right.
That we talked about, and, even people like me have been training forever, but and this is the trap that you and I will fall into occasionally, is because we're always trying to find a more efficient way.
Right.
Or maybe if I do this, it'll deload my joints a bit, because I've been training a long time, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, fuck, now I'm in worse shape. What happened?
I think what's funny, though, is the difference. And I think my big complaint on bodybuilding, I hate to group, but the youth of bodybuilding is always looking for an easier way to do things. I feel like the old school guys are always looking for a way to make it harder. And sometimes in that quest, we make it more difficult, but not more efficient.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
And I think that's what you should really be obsessing about is how does the muscle feel after you do this? And then say, okay, now with that, was it worth any trade-off that I might have had, like you said, down the line? And that's why I don't like to change things all at once. I see people really upend their training, and I'm like, ooh, bring a movement in. Dump
Right.
something that's not working. Bring something in. How does it go? And also, I mean, you can really get down to it is if you want to keep your body healthy, there's actually an order that you should follow in the gym. You can't just wing it. Like I've had clients say, "Oh, that wasn't available, so I went to this." And I'm like, no. Like I don't want you doing a heavy dumbbell skull crusher first.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it when you're young because you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you'll pay for it later. I think so too. Like, I mean, I do all my leg workouts now. I do a leg curl, then I do an extension, and then I go into the compound number 1, and I'm like, okay, this is what the day's about. Yeah,
you're primed now. Plus, I kind of like I can now individually feel the muscles firing because they did get a little pump.
Yeah,
totally. they are moving, so that's huge. And the big thing is just the blood. And same thing goes with wearing your equipment. I have guys ask me all the time, like, at what point should I start wearing elbow sleeves? I'm like, before you need them. Don't wait, because I get that a lot too. People are like, oh, your elbows must be made out of fucking whatever because you can do that heavy weight. And I'm like, I've been wearing sleeves since I was like starting.
Right.
I always used to joke I'd get my Battle Cat gear on before the heavy sets. I got the fucking wrists, I got the elbows, but it's like, I just knew that stability needed to be there. Plus, I like to go through all my warm-ups without them. So when I go to the heavy set, it doesn't seem so drastic because it's like, oh, elbow sleeves. There we go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you got a bunch of Coach's Corners questions, don't you?
Yeah, we got some good ones, and I like that they're a little bit all over the place today. So I think when I tell people like, hey, we didn't really give you a ton of time, so what do you want to know? We got some variety shit here.
The feedback on the last show was great. People loved Nick Walker. A lot of people were really glad to be introduced to him.
I'm blown away by how many people didn't. I guess because Nick's not out there a ton. How many people didn't realize that he's like a personable, cool guy?
Oh, everyone's like, wow, what a cool guy. And then the feedback on the last half hour where we were chatting about movies and music was great. Like the amount of messages I got. So 3 people sent me Chicago songs.
Dude, so I was at I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but I was at the Container Store, doing man shit. Because when I get ready to start, and I haven't prepped, dude, in like 2 years. Right. So, and I just like to have, it sounds so silly because I'm home all day, but I like all my food to be in Tupperwares and ready to go even when I'm at home. Right. So like if I'm in the middle of something, I grab it, throw it in the microwave, eat, done, And I realized I didn't have any Tupperware that fit a full meal, especially when I started adding greens to them. So I was like, all right, I'm going to head down to this Container Store and buy some Tupperware. And as I'm sitting there, the Peter Cetera comes on.
Oh.
And I'm like, little memory of It's Just Bodybuilding.
Yes.
He's the man that's fighting
for those who don't know who Peter Cetera. Peter Cetera was in Chicago, right? Is that the
exactly?
Yeah.
So I was dying when they came on because I'm sitting there. I'm like, is it weird if I just stand here and wait for the song to end? I've already got my Tupperware.
It was great. I love.
I am straight, but I just needed my Tupperware, and I love this song, so I'm just gonna.
Right. Takes me back.
Takes me back to before I was born. Oh shit.
I also had a lot of. I had several people message about Tombstone and some of the movies we mentioned. They were like sending me gifs. I got the gif of Val Kilmer spinning his fucking coffee cup.
Everyone knows that shit, right? That's the thing is you could just sit there for like 30, 40 minutes easily and go back and forth with quotes of Tombstone.
Yeah.
All by itself, I had that conversation. I text you, remember? Out of the blue, I go, Top Gun, no other words.
Oh, did I tell you the story about the kid that I got turned on to AC/DC? Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Oh, fuck. I think I had it ready one day and we just didn't get to it. That's the thing is we have so many topics that we fucking miss half of them. So anyways, this kid sends me a message and he's like, I just went back and listened to the Highway to Hell album. I'd never heard it before. Obviously I'd heard Highway to Hell because I recognized it from the radio, but then the other songs I had never heard. That fucking album is incredible. I can't stop listening to it. Now I'm downloading all these other what should I listen to next? Like, what's the next AC/DC album? I don't want to do them in the wrong order. And
that's fucking awesome.
These guys are awesome. And I guess so. He was normally into like metal,
right? So
he thought AC/DC, that's like old man, like that's like the Rolling Stones, right? Like he's thinking that's like the Beatles, like. That's old, right?
My dad listens to that shit.
Yeah, but they're not. They were like, back in the day, they were way heavier than the Rolling Stones, and they were nothing like the Beatles. You know, in the 70s, AC/DC was like fucking rocking. Like, people were like, who the fuck are these guys? Yeah, so anyways, he went back and listened to the album, and then he sent me all this stuff like, man, I'm a huge fan now. And I used to I never paid attention to it. It'd come on the radio, I'd turn the station. But he's like, now that I listened to, I realized, because, you know, once you know something about the people, he realized it's, you know, the two brothers that play guitar, and now he loves them. Right. So I was just fucking smiling ear to ear. I was like, I just got some 22-year-old kid to become an AC/DC fan.
Right.
Plus,
pretty much saved his life, if you think about it.
Then he realized, he's like, you know, I should have given, he said he should have given them a chance earlier, because half of his favorite musicians list them as an influence.
Right.
Because he's into metal.
Yeah.
And he just was like,
didn't click that.
Yeah. So now I was just so happy. I was like, come home, I tell Emily, I'm like, I got some kid on to Hackadacka.
She's like, what? Can you get arrested selling him that? Never
mind. It will ruin his life. Okay.
Might be legal in Canada.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. We're getting to this. Stay Cold _MMX wants to know, what's your least favorite part about the industry today? And I had to give it to you first because I read this one early and I was like,
I guess it would just be the belief that you need all these drugs in like the first 5 years of your training, like this lack of awareness of what building a natural foundation does for you for the rest of your life, and this no patience, and, you know, just the drug abuse. The focus on the drugs is my least favorite part, because I mean, like, you know, we've told a million stories about that. I'm sure people are blue in the face hearing us fucking go on about how you just can't rely on, it's just not about the drugs, but there's just so many people miss that. And it'd be my least favorite thing. It would be kind of tied in, I guess, generally with a patience thing, like a lack of awareness of how long this is supposed to take.
Right.
You know, not everyone's Nick Walker, well, I'm not, you know, where he's 25 and he's like huge, right? Like most guys, like, you're not going to get that big till you're in your 30s. Like, fuck, it takes forever.
Well, and they still connect. What's funny to me about that is the connection is still, and Nick said this, I don't know if it was I was talking to him or on our show, but he said the same thing. The immediate assumption is he must just be on a ton of shit.
Yeah.
It's
must be.
It's like, even if, fine, grab one of your friends that's crazy and have him get on a ton of shit. I promise you he's not going to turn into Nick Walker.
Yeah.
Like,
and so that would be it. Like that text you sent me last night. That was
you can say it. It's funny. Go ahead.
So
put it out there.
You sent me a text last night, and he goes, I just got a client, and we set everything up, and I said, well, I think 400 test and 200 EQ is plenty.
Yeah.
And he responded, okay, should I take that 2 or 3 times a week?
That's why I had to send it to you. I laughed. I was like, that was total.
That is total. That's per week. Yes. And also too, like, just I get satisfied. Like, I got a couple guys that I took on, and the first thing I did was put them down to a cruise.
Right.
And a couple months later, they're like, oh, my strength's up in everything.
Yeah.
So.
But then what sucks is there's still that itch, because it's like, all right, my strength's up on anything. Now when do we go back up?
Right.
And it's like, and I think, even me, if I could go back and change something I did, it would have been to be more patient on how long it takes to get bigger. Yeah. I do believe, like, when I look back at my early pictures, I never had some like streamlined genetics, but I think I made them worse rushing. I think I highlighted blowing out the midsection more and that through, and it wasn't just rushing drugs, it was rushing food. It was just how fast can I get as heavy as possible?
Yeah.
And I do think, don't get me wrong, I mean, that is the goal, point A to point B, but you should be mindful of the whole way watching your physique. Because in a perfect world, what you are at your finish line should be the same thing you were in the beginning, just bigger.
Yeah.
So I feel like my taper was better when I was 26 than it is now.
Right.
And I'm bigger. I mean, drastically bigger. But I'd have a really hard time saying, if I was just judging for myself, that this is better.
Right.
It's just bigger.
I know what you mean.
I think I'd like to take a guy and say, okay, I'm adding 2 years to how long it takes you to get there. But are you willing to give me that 2 years if I promise you it's a much better look?
I was always known for having a small waist and really wide shoulders. So I was always known for having like a crazy X.
Right.
Because with my waist being so tiny, my legs had a nice full look to them and my shoulders were super wide. So that was how I did well. Mm-hmm. But I know, most people didn't really comment or say anything, but I know that from the time I started competing in 97 to 2008, my waist was at its smallest.
Right. 2009
was a year I went to 330 pounds.
Right.
And from that point to the end of my career, I could never get my waist as tight or as tapered. It always had a little bit of like distension. And I didn't get, like, it's not noticeable. No one ever comments, but I know it. My abs did separate like a half a centimeter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you have the natural separation in the front, and then they're just slightly wider than they used to be. And like you see on some of the pros, like Dennis James had that big gap, and some of the guys, because they blew their waist out so bad. Yeah. And so I had a little bit of that. It was enough to make me like panic. And that's why like the last few years with Chris, I didn't even really go over 310, I don't think.
Right.
Because I was like, I don't really, like, I didn't want to feel bloated. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, it isn't always worth it to just blast up. Because I look at some of my pictures from like 06, 07, 08, and I'm like, Jesus, fuck, my waist is like.
Right.
So even though I'm smaller,
what was the weight difference between those points and when you turned pro, say?
Well, I'd hit 320.
But I mean on stage.
Oh, on stage. 10, 14 pounds.
See, that's the crazy part that we've discussed before is it's such, and I know you're in the same spot, like you can't carve a pebble. You need to get big, but it's such a gray statement because at the end of the day, what really matters is how much weight you put on stage, and more importantly, how does it look?
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, so you're talking how many years is that? You said 2008 to 2000 and.
Well, 2009 was when I felt like my waist got a little bit blown out.
Okay, so 2008, you weighed what when you were on stage?
Mid 250s, low 250s.
Okay, and what did you turn pro at?
260. Well, I was 265 or 266.
All right, so we'll call it 15 pounds.
Maybe.
12 to 15 pounds.
12. Let's say 12. Yeah.
All right, so you got 12 pounds difference. I totally understand that the question mark is you judging those two physiques against each other. Which one do you like better?
I think the earlier one got less injuries. And to me, I could see little symmetry differences, right? That other people weren't noticing yet. But I was like picking them apart.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's a cool thing when you've got that, though, because that's something I think if you're a true bodybuilder, you should keep that in mind while you're on your way up. Is like, don't just chase what you think they're rewarding necessarily, because it's got to be a look you love. I've said on this show a million times, and like my favorite show ever was 2011, which is my worst placement.
Right.
But I was peeled and I went through hell for the show, and it was just, I'll always remember. That's the little guy.
Yeah. It's okay. We like the personality.
Chill.
Okay. Well, now what about you? We got to finish your question.
What? Oh, so for me,
what's the thing you dislike the most about the industry?
There's It's funny because I guess I'm on this kick of everything's gravy lately, because I really do think a lot in the industry is really awesome. I would say what I dislike currently the most is I think across the board we're getting blinded and we're not thinking forward with what we're rewarding with competitors. For example, we got people dying from bodybuilding now because they're chasing something they can't have. And again, back to what we just went over, maybe not something that necessarily makes them better. I really am having a harder and harder time working with some of the females because I feel like I find myself in a jam, and not all of them. I've got some great female competitors I work with, but I've had a few I've let go recently because what they wanted to do didn't match in my head what they should do long term. I think they were thinking about the stage and winning right now, and they weren't thinking about the fact they're going to age their face 10 years in two. Their voice is never coming back. Their skin's never going to be the same. And when they're done with this, they're going to be like so many other women that I hear about that say, I hate bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And bodybuilding didn't do that to you. You did it.
Yeah.
Because I have plenty of clients that have won and went on lots of levels, but they don't lose track of what matters to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that's just difficult because we're competitors. You chase what it's going to win, and then you're not really thinking fully.
Yeah. Yeah, totally understood. There we go.
Harvey's joining the show.
So how's Harvey and Donna getting along?
They get along awesome. They play like crazy, and she is loud. Like she's fierce. So he pushes her around, and she starts making a lot of noise like she is. So if I just separate them a little bit, they're good to go. I had given him a bone when the show started, but apparently those got boring. So here we are. But that's all right. It's good, though. He's good for views because he's so handsome. He did not get that from me.
There we go. He did not get that from me.
No, sir. No, sir, he did not. Oh, those are good questions. This is a good one for you. We're sticking on this line of growing. How did you decide I'm going to be a great open class bodybuilder and going to be a freak? I mean, his words were nail 300 pounds. What was your mindset?
I was like, first of all, the question's interesting how he worded it. Did you catch what he said? How did you know you were going to be a freak open class bodybuilder? Right. It was only bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's all we had. So there were two choices: not compete or try to look like Dorian.
Right. Which meant be a freak.
That was it. Either you didn't win or you looked like a 90s pro.
Right.
So one of my favorite ways to describe this to people is back when I first started competing, we didn't have, obviously, access to any of these photos and videos of every single show like we have now.
Right.
All we had, the only standard we had was what was in Flex magazine and what was on the Mr. Olympia VHS tapes.
Olympia. Doo-doo.
Mr. Olympia.
Yep.
So, you'd put in the 89 Olympia.
Yep.
And you'd turn it on, and you'd see Lee Haney, Barry DeMay, Lee Labrada, Sean Ray, Rich Gaspari.
Right.
And they were all shredded out of their fucking minds with skeleton faces.
Yep.
And then you'd put on, what else did we have? By 97, we had the Blood and Guts video where we saw Dorian training. That was it.
Did you have the Battle for the Olympias yet?
Yeah, they had no, I think 97 or 98 was the first year they did it.
Okay, gotcha.
So they hadn't, like, you know what I mean? So I started before those. So But even then, they're all pros. So that's all we had. So the mindset was, I'll compete when I'm big enough to compete. So the only standard was the pros. So I would be like, okay, well, you know, I'm 6'1". So, you know, Barry DeMay was 6'1" and he was 230 shredded.
Right.
So, you know, I know by that point, Paul Dillette was coming into the mix and he was like 260. So I'm thinking, well, fuck, I got to be at least 230 for my first show. So my standard for my first show was a pro.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't my buddy who won the Northerns or this guy at the gym that looks good. My standard was that, because I went to my first show assuming there was going to be 20 people like me.
Right.
Like I thought, okay, I'm going to my first show. Heavyweight class will be jacked. There'll be all these fucking freaks there. Everyone will be shredded, and it's going to be tough.
It's a good thing to walk into expecting. That took your prep to another level.
Yeah, but that's how you prepared for a show. Is you'd look at pictures and flex, and you'd go, okay, well, I'm not ready yet. I had to keep dieting. So it was just different because now the mindset's like, we're looking at so many other people that some people, like, you say, who's your favorite pro, and they can't name one.
Right.
So then you're like, well, it's just different. So the mindset going in was you had to be a freak or there was no point in competing. Like I trained for 7 years before I did my first like sanctioned fucking bodybuilding show where you're on your road to the pro card, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because I just think, well, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. Why would I diet now when I'm nowhere near looking like a bodybuilder?
Yeah. So the way he worded that with the divisions and stuff, there were no choices. It was like, be a freak or don't bodybuild. And I was like, well, I love bodybuilding and I want to be a freak. So it was just so automatic. There was no thought at all.
No, I get that. And I think, I mean, for me, I was just drawn to it. You know, it's funny. A lot of people do the parallel with superheroes and that. I was never into that. It just wasn't my thing. But long before I was in the gym, I would be the kid that bought a Flex magazine for some reason at the grocery store. Just flipped through it and read. And I knew who Dorian was before I followed bodybuilding. I knew who Sean Ray was before I followed bodybuilding. Because just from every now and then, you're kind of like drawn into like, God, these guys are freaks. And then when I got into it, I think what's funny is I wanted to be a spectacle.
Like totally.
Like I wanted to walk around and like, I remember the first time I heard someone say like, oh, that's gross. When I walked by and I was like, oh, yes. Right. Yes. I'm starting to make it, you know, like it was, you know, like Labrada said, Hunter, about his dad, like he knew his lane. I knew what I wanted. And it was always to just be a nasty freak. Yeah. You know, I had no idea what that meant, but I knew I wanted to do it.
I remember like hearing and reading like, oh shit, like, you know, Paul Dillette's 300 pounds in the off season.
Right.
And he was my height. So like, people would say, so like, what's the goal? And I'm like, well, I have to get 300 pounds. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because that's the standard. Like Paul Dillette's my height. He's 300 off season, 265, 270 on stage. So I have to be that big because that's the standard. Like,
yeah, it was black and white to you.
Black and white. So, you know, and then people would say like, oh, well, when's big enough? And I'd always say never big enough. Like I want to grow so much muscle, my fucking just rips my bones apart.
Right.
You know?
What's funny is I still think that.
Yeah.
There really isn't a big enough. I mean, look at it. Like, I mean, and it's not to say that your physique can't go downhill if it keeps getting bigger. But there's something about just saying, like, you know what's weird is I feel bad for guys, and we just talked today about bringing some on. Like, what would it be like for like Flex Lewis, when bodybuilding became body maintaining? Right. Or body polishing, like he couldn't do any more building. Yeah. He's going to go over his limit. You know what I mean? And that would change the way you train, change the way you eat, change your entire year, because if I put on 5 pounds, I'm fucked.
Well,
I've told you
before about that 6 ounce life that Flex was living.
Yes. No way.
And I had that meal with him, and he's like, "Oh, I need a 6-ounce steak because that's all Neil's going to let me eat, or I get too big."
Yeah. I'll accidentally put on too much muscle. It's a problem most people don't have, but I hear it.
Yeah. I gotta. Did you answer the question yet?
Yep.
We're good.
Yes.
Okay, I got a question for you. How dirty did you actually eat at your dirty bulkiest?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. This was, I had competed. I'd done 2 or 3 shows. And mind you, like I told you, when I competed the first time, I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
I was like, all right, I'm going to get shredded. I got 6 weeks. I'm going to eat tuna and water for 6 weeks, and that'll get me there. So then when I was done, it became get huge. Get huge just meant eat calories. So I was, and I grew up, I was an only child. Both my parents worked. So I grew up on fast food. So McDonald's was a go-to, not like here and there, like 2 to 3 times a day. I would go to McDonald's because in my mind, protein, fat, carbs. Right. We're good. You know, I mean, I'm sure it's a fucking Egg McMuffin, but we're good, you know? Yeah. And I never even, what's funny is I never even like looked into the calories of each one. I just knew like, well, yeah, if I eat, 4 quarter pounders, that's, it's a lot of protein. Mm-hmm. All right, we're good. So what was funny about that is I got up to 260 pounds. Fat as fuck. No idea. I was huge. I was 260. You know, when you're at that point, you're stepping on the scale all the time. And as long as it's going up, we're good. We are good.
The first time I hit 300 was the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to 260, and I dieted down for a show. Hey, you want to talk about it? We're in the middle of it. I got down to 208 for this on stage, and I still wasn't in shape.
Yeah.
So 52 pounds of fat was not enough. Okay, you want to be on the show?
Yeah, I've been there before, man. I've been there.
So yeah, no, I ate terribly, but the good thing was I'm glad it happened when it did, because I was young enough that I didn't kill my health, and it was a wake up, like, oh shit, And now, like when I fast forward years later, I had employees when I owned the store who would come in and they're like, oh, you're doing another show, and I'm like, no, why? Well, that's the same food you were eating during the prep. I'm like, well, but there's more of it, because that became my new life, which was just same food, more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
year round. So it's funny how you evolve, and people are like, oh, you're a clean eater. I'm like, I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I remember when I went to Australia and I met John Davey, who was a good friend of mine. He owns a bunch of world gyms down there. I've mentioned him before. Yeah. But he was like the big bodybuilder at the gym. Like everyone's like, that guy's going to win nationals like next year. He's going to turn pro. There's no one's going to beat that guy. He had the big quads. He's 285. He just,
Didn't he do the Olympia in 03?
He did the 03 Olympia. So he was a very, very, very good bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And but I remember seeing him at the gym and stuff. And when we started hanging out, I was blown away at how clean he ate.
Right.
Like, because I was this 19-year-old kid, like bodybuilding was all fun and games. I was training my ass off, eating fucking burgers. And, I just like you, like I just grab like whatever protein shake was in the fridge at the gym and just guzzle it and eat a piece of fruit. And I'd be like, hey, post-workout's done.
Right.
And then like.
No rhyme or reason.
No, protein. Just like carbs,
done.
Protein.
Yep.
That's post-workout, So I just throw whatever, and of course I ate my meals too. Like I'm cooking chicken and rice at home.
Yeah.
But there's just so much other shit going in my mouth. Like every chance, like, want to stop and grab something to eat? Fuck yeah, I'd order pizza, you know? But John would order like steak, veggies, baked potato plain.
Right.
And I just remember thinking like, fuck, I can't believe he doesn't eat any junk. And then like randomly once every 3 months, he'd be like, do you want to get some pizza?
Yes.
And I'd be like, yeah.
I haven't had this yesterday, but let's do this.
He'd have 3 slices and then he'd have a protein shake and say, okay, I'm done.
Right.
And it was just funny. He's like the cleanest eating huge guy I'd ever known. Because I was like, how the fuck do you get big if you don't eat more calories? Like I remember just having a hard. He used to grab plain baked potatoes and eat them like apples.
Right. Been there.
I'd do it driving.
I'd have salt in a potato.
Yeah, just fucking funny, man. But so that was the first time, because I'd just been, I've been a Wendy's bodybuilder all through high school. Shakes, Wendy's, steak, good wholesome farm food, but lots of junk.
Yeah.
And I remember when I met him, I was like, oh, he's like off season's as clean as a diet.
Right.
And that was the first time I encountered that. So, it only took me like, several more decades to start eating that clean all year long.
Yeah, he's weird. Fuck him.
He's just weird. So
Can't
yeah,
disagree with that.
No, totally. Yeah, hit me with another one.
Yes, you know what? I have one that I had to grab from today. I had a kid that couldn't get his question on my little list here. Wait, boom. Not too easy. Oh, here's one. This is quick, and I'm going to find the other one because I have to go into my questions. A guy asked, he said, Chad said that DECA sucks. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion.
I hate DECA.
Me too.
I think DECA is like, sure, on paper, it's a great steroid, but DECA is a great steroid for like athletes who take 100 milligrams a week. When you're dealing with these track and field guys. And then, of course, it's a terrible drug for them because it's the one that hangs around the longest for drug testing. So, a little bit of nandrolone could be a great drug for an athlete, but it's also the longest it hangs around in a drug test. So the Olympic people hate it.
Right.
And then for bodybuilding purposes, once you're taking like an effective dose, I think it's just loaded with side effects.
Yeah.
And anything that makes your dick not work properly
is not worth it.
Just fucking hit the road with that shit.
Yeah.
I had no time for that.
Yeah, that's a simple answer to me too. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not gonna work.
I consider my dick an emergency responder. He has to be ready to go at all times. You don't call a fireman and they're like, oh, I'm taking the night off.
I can't, sorry.
Yeah, it's like, no, we have a fire. Like,
well, you know what they say
now.
The responsibility of a man is to make sure she doesn't need another man.
Right.
So if you go in there with that problem, she gonna need another man today.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny. I just joked that DECA sucks, and actually, the reason I hate DECA is because if I take one shot of DECA, I will instantly get gyno on my left side.
Just the way your body clicks with it, with the 19 or in general, or just that one, yeah.
Well, so especially DECA because it's the long-acting one.
Yeah.
Now NPP, I can take a bit of, but I will never take it again because I don't take hardly anything anymore.
Yeah.
But when I used to use NPP, I remember the last couple times I used it, I thought it gave me generally a little bit of a more watery appearance.
Right.
And I remember when I stopped taking it, all of a sudden I like hardened up a lot.
Right.
So I just don't like any of that shit. I just don't like nandrolones, period.
I agree. I think it's one of those things where the reason a lot of young guys fight it is that it's kind of like the training. They get done with a great cycle of test and EQ. What should I do next time? I'm like, well, let's just do that again.
Bang.
It was awesome. So we should change it? Why?
Yeah. So like a switch. I think the idea that you have to switch up drugs all the time is also completely wrong.
Of course it is.
If you use them up and down, on and off, and you don't like just ram a lot all the time and get desensitized completely, I don't think you need to switch compounds. Like Advil has worked for me my whole life.
Yeah. It's always my go-to for pain, and it still works.
Caffeine still works. Had some this morning.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is everyone wants to complicate this more than they should. And I think it goes back to also we want to complicate all this other shit, but then not just focus on the very basics.
Right.
I've had kids that have questions about drugs, and the depth of them are beyond my scope. And then my answer to win the conversation is immediately, when's the last time you missed a meal?
Exactly. I had a
then
message
don't
from
know all this shit. Eat your food.
Yeah. I had a message from a kid the other day. He goes, I'm taking 50 milligrams of Anavar a day. I'm wondering if I should take 25 milligrams AM and 25 PM, or if I should take 10 milligrams 5 times. And my answer was, make sure you put the pills in your hand and then put the pills in your mouth at some point during the day.
Yeah. And in a time you won't forget to take them every
Right.
day.
Ideally, a half and half would be great, obviously, with an oral. But I just said, man, like, you can't be carrying Anavar. The guy lives in the States. So, okay, you live in the States. So you're going to carry Anavar around with you all day, and just one day you have a bad day and you get arrested.
You couldn't get arrested in the afternoon when you only had one left. You have
Yeah. I don't know. That's just how I think, right? Just simplify shit.
No, I like to oversimplify. I used to with things like that because I know me. I'm not going to split it. I'm just not going to do it. So I was like, I guess I'll take it like an hour before I train. That should work.
There you go.
So it was like, I'd eat my pre-workout meal and then I would take this. All right, that'll work. It seems to have worked. I put on a pound or two.
That's funny. Is it your question or my question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask this one I was looking for.
Okay.
Been training natural for 12 years. Haven't gained much, if any, muscle the last 5 or 6. I'm only 160 pounds lean. I have tiny parents. There's a lot of Y's. You think I've met my natural potential?
Well, no.
I know you don't, yeah, I was just saying, I know you don't have enough information, so you're going to go into all the things you already know.
Yeah, I mean, for him to have met his natural potential, his training would have to be, off the wall, ridiculously intense for a long, like 10 years. And he'd have to have proof showing me he ate, enough calories for 10 years, all that stuff. Yeah. There's always more work you can do. You can always work harder. You can always put in more effort. He's definitely doesn't sound like he's got an advantage of any kind.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, but that was the question, was his potential. And I think that's where the key is my answer is real simple on this. Because based on this statement, you think that you met your natural potential in 6 years. Because out of 12, you said you haven't gained anything in 6 of them. So to me, it's really, really simple. You have to ask yourself, like you just said, am I missing any meals? Okay, are the meals big enough? Am I sleeping? Am I training? One thing you and I have discussed many times is the fact that intensity is something that you learn progressively.
Yeah.
I've had clients, this is something I like to, it'll come up on accident on the regular. Someone will say, I had the nastiest workout. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have been there training with you, because I'm stoked for them. And they're like, oh, that would suck if you came. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you'd kill me. And I'm like, well, you just said it was the nastiest training possible. That means I couldn't kill you.
Right.
So it's like, so you already know in the back of your head, there's levels above where you're at. And I mean, we all know that. I know that even to this day. I think I put a post about that mentally recently. But your job should be to chase it then.
Yeah.
Find that click.
And he said, he didn't make any gains for the last 6 years, but he did for the first 6. So maybe his eating and training was enough stimulus and enough food to get to this point, and he hasn't realized he has to up it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, well, I grew for 6 years and I stopped. Well, that's because that's where your training and nutrition were set. That's where you are.
You that was as far as those things could take you.
Yeah, and another phrase is, I know it's, not wildly accurate, but it's a good like mantra. Eat for the body weight you want to be.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
So if you're 170 and you want to be 190, you have to eat as a 190 pounder, Yep. So you have to up your protein, up your carb. Like, it's just, you have to progress. It's just like what you do on the hack squat over the course of 5-6 years. You add a little bit of weight every time. You have to do it with your food too. As you get bigger, you have to eat more. Why do you think it's so hard to maintain a pro level physique? It's such a high maintenance project.
Yeah. Now your maintenance levels of food, rest, and all that are higher than they were when you were a kid, blasting your mind out to go up.
That's why it's so easy for me to be 260 pretty ripped.
Right.
Because, I'd gone up with the food so high that like a default setting is now here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, plus you've had the tissue for so long. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but someone asked me on my post. I just do the Q&A all the time. What my goals are for my physique when I'm done, and I said that I want to be down to 230. Because I just think I'd feel great. I think I'd feel athletic again. I'd like to get back to doing some of my athletic things. And Dante screenshots it and sends back to me because I said, something like as fast as possible or whatever. He screenshots back to me, goes, isn't going to happen. Right. And I'm like, yeah, it is. He was like, you'll have to not eat and not train. You're not going to go in the gym and train like a bitch. He goes, and even if you take, TRT at 200, your body, and I didn't even think about how long I've been 260 plus pounds.
Yeah.
I've been over 270, like never been below it since, God, I mean, even stage weight was 270 a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you start to realize, like, man, my body is used to holding this tissue, or even like I told you before with the last couple of years, I've just been maintaining. So my eating has not been that great. The only thing holding it on is just training.
Yeah.
I mean, I have clients that eat more than I do.
Oh, it's tons.
Like way more than me. And I'm like, I was telling somebody, because now that I'm getting kicking with Chris again, I'm like, man, I'm going to grow. Because it'll just get back to consistently eating all my food 7 times a day.
Almost all my clients eat more than me.
Right.
How's that?
You ever do that when you're reading? Because I'm like, I'm up. I tell somebody, I'm like, man, I gotta up your food. You good to eat? They're like, yeah, I can eat more. I open it up. I'm like, fuck, you're eating so much.
I got a couple guys on 7 meals, and like 6 of them are solid, and 1 of them is a shake.
Yeah.
And I opened the file, and I'm like, God damn, am I fucking over this bullshit?
Glad it's not me. Fuck.
I got 5 meals. Maybe 1 of them's a shake, so I only have to eat 4 meals a day. It's like so
one's
fucking
breakfast
easy.
is just so easy anyways. It's got egg whites and shit.
Yeah, so that's funny. Okay, I got one. What are the best and worst? This came over my stories last week when I did a bunch of stories, and I had to ask you, what are the best and worst fashion trends that you've taken part in as a bodybuilder?
Ooh. I mean, I'm a fucking fashion disaster every day.
Some of the things you look back on. You ever see a picture where you're wearing an outfit and you're like, what was I thinking?
All right, so this isn't all right. I'm doing a 2-parter because I had both.
Well, we need best and worst, yeah.
Yeah, well, they were all terrible. But so when I first got into bodybuilding, number 1, I had the bandana, the over the ears bandana, red bandana. But then to add insult to injury, I used to wear Tiffany hoop earrings with them, like a pirate.
Oh, I remember the pirate look.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I look at it.
That was like you were also.
Here's your parrot, prick.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing. And that was back. So I was still going to all the small shows of like, God, Blink before they were Blink 182 and ska music and shit like that. So
to see Rancid.
I did see Rancid actually here. And it's funny to think of how big some of these bands went. I'm like, I saw them with 32 other people one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think the pirate fucking earrings really just brought it all together. Like I was just looking for my parrot so I could bring him around.
Right.
And what's funny is every time I put up a picture like a throwback, somebody would be like, "Bring back the bandana." I'm like, dick. So yeah, that would definitely be the worst. And then the other part that I missed, thank God, I missed a large section of the bad fashion trend, but I did rock the baggy pants with the fucking atomics for a long time. Like everywhere.
How baggy? Like the California Crazy Wears or the
the ones that tapered down to the ankle tight. But I mean, you could shit in them and no one would know. Yeah, they were so baggy everywhere else. And
did they have the middle panel? Like were they the hammer style pants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Gators Gym made those.
Yep. So they had them, and so did what was it called? So with an N. God damn it. There was another brand. No Limits. No Limits. Yeah, I had some of their stuff too. Absolutely terrible, and I wore it every day. Every day. I'm like, and then with those, remember, you wore the Slinky T-shirt, the fucking painted on. It was basically Under Armour before Under Armour came out. Right. Yeah, douchebag 101. That's me. Hi.
That's crazy. Now, is there any old fashioned that you really wish would come back? Like you loved it, and you're like, fuck, I wish I could wear that again, but I couldn't get away with it.
God, no, because thankfully there's not, because I'm the asshole that just does whatever he wants anyways.
Right.
It'd be more of an issue of, I can't find those anymore. Like one thing that I can always tell old guys. So I still, as you know, for the longest time I had my Adidas pants that they're baggy all the way down to the ankle. And I still wear them. They're probably 5 years old. And sure as shit, every time I post a video, somebody around our age will message me, where the fuck did you get those pants? They're all tight at the bottom now. I'm like, I got them in 2015.
Right.
I just managed to buy enough of them that I finally retired every pair except for one. I've had the ass sewn up so many times it blew out. I think I told you at one point I got a surgeon to sew them for me, which I thought was awesome. It was like a professional. I was like, I have a surgeon fixing my pants right now.
And you had to buy some gas pants because you couldn't find good baggy track pants.
So I had to go back to a bodybuilding world where someone would be like, yeah, we still make those. And by the way, fun fact, Gas did a sale over the weekend, 50% off the entire site. I bought more because I'm still cheap. Damn.
Right.
I'm still cheap, and gas was expensive as shit, man. I'm that first time, remember the first time I was bragging to you is how I spent $400 or wasted $400 on pants. Yeah. I'm like, who spends $400 on pants?
Well, if you need them, you need them. That's funny. Well, you can. The best part is you can write that off because you use it for your videos.
Thank God I write everything off.
There you go. I know. I know. My accountant calls me. He's like, "You got $9,000 in restaurant write-offs." Yep. And I'm like, every single person I eat with is
they're in the industry
talking about bodybuilding, or they have it's every single time. So it's funny. He's like, oh, okay.
That's a great thing is you're like, it's actually 100% legit.
That's all I talk about. Is it the podcast, the fucking this, like just fucking all I talk about. So there you go. It's my whole day. The whole day's a write-off. Exactly. My accountant laughs. He's good though. As far as fashion for me, I'm so glad I got a fucking eyeful when I was young. Because, I mean, I started training in 90. So I got the old 80s fashion was still in the gym.
Yeah.
I remember going to the gym and the aerobics class would be on. Step class was new. You got a step class going, right? And you look in, and all the women are wearing the full tights with the thong tight. Yeah. So black tights with a purple thong, and then they got the fucking fuzzy fat leg warmers up their calves, and fucking white Reeboks everywhere. And they're going at it. And I remember back in the day when those thongs were in.
Yeah.
All the guys were like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can handle those thongs," because you can see the cheeks and you get the full right? Little did I know that it would progress to where they're just basically wearing the thong in the gym.
Yeah, now they don't. They just got rid of the tights.
So yeah, that was funny. I caught that era, right? Right. And my favorite era of clothing that I remember was I had that mid-90s super hardcore thing. So I had the lumberjack shirt cut off at the elbow with the threads hanging.
Like Nasser.
Yeah, like Nasser. And I would train in a fucking cut off, torn up lumberjack shirt, had a hole in the back. And big baggy hammer pants with the middle section that separated the legs. So they were super baggy. Tucked in to the socks.
Of course. Because how are you going to see those socks?
Right. With work boots.
I fucking had the Timbs on.
Caterpillars.
Oh, there you go.
Docs. I had Docs, actually. I was a Doc guy, so I had these Doc Martens. But that's how we fucking dressed. And then if it wasn't a lumberjack shirt, I had the big boat neck Gators gym shirt that went from clavicle to clavicle.
Did you have the tank top underneath of it that you need
You need a thin, narrow tank top, so the straps have to come up high, so that the trap is fully exposed, and then it gives this maximum trap illusion, this huge trap. And then in grade 12, essentially my traps are the same size they are now. My neck has been the same size for 25 years. So I was just this kid in high school and just had fucking huge traps and just no neck.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny, man. But that was the best. Those were the best days. And the bandana you mentioned, the red paisley bandana, I still break that out once in a while. Take that for a spin. I still take that for a spin.
You're a machine.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit of nostalgia.
You know what's funny? Speaking of fashion that I have to bring up. So my very first big bodybuilding show was the USA's, oh, God, I don't even know what year it was at. But I remember I'm in the lobby. And mind you, like, bodybuilding is a different level of, the women don't like clothing pretty often. So I look over the corner of my eye. I see this girl who has cut out the zipper of her pants that are painted on. Like, I don't know how, but I mean, she had to shave to put her pants on, is what I'm telling you. So I'm with my friend Bruce, who owned the stores at the time that I eventually bought from him. And I go, Bruce, I'll do one of these. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, dude, you don't have to look out of the corner. They want you to look. He goes like this. He goes to her, hey. Up and down, smiles, gives her a nod. She goes, hey. I was like, that's allowed? He's like, she's not wearing pants for a reason.
That's funny.
So as a kid at like early 20s, I was like, you can't just look at her and say, hey. He's like, why do you think she's wearing that shit? She wants you to look.
That's funny.
I was dying. And so that was my first experience of like, this is a different world. Because once you go into the bubble, you're in the bubble. And no one else thinks it's weird, except for the new guy who's kind of like, how come you don't zip up your pants?
It's funny. I was on Twitter the other day. I try to stay off Twitter because it just, so much stuff on there makes me angry. So I dare to peek at it occasionally.
Right.
And I like it when I see a tweet from like someone in the normal world that relates to my world from a different perspective. So this one lady, so I don't know, someone I follow retweeted it. Right. And it was, for God's sakes, will someone please tell these fucking fitness girls that their tights are fucking obscene? No one wants to see this. And I clicked on it and I read the replies. The replies were overwhelmingly in support. They were like, I can't believe anyone thinks tights are pants. Tights are not suitable for airlines. Tights are not suitable for restaurants. Tights are not. And people were agreeing. They're like, these tights are fucking disgusting. All these fucking fit girls in their tights, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, holy shit, the general population hates these fucking things. But to us, it's just absolutely normal.
Yeah, there's pants.
They're just pants.
I don't think anything of it, yeah.
Of course, obviously a giant amount of that is rooted in jealousy.
Yeah, of course.
Because, I mean, you know, they can't
wear them. I think that makes it harder for me to notice because of where I live. Like, I didn't actually, it's funny, but I didn't know this until I started traveling more. I had no idea because I spend the majority of my life Scottsdale, LA, San Diego, where everyone's mindful of being in shape. Yeah. So when you go to other places, you're like, oh, this isn't normal. Because like here, I'm more like, funny thing, but even when clients send me like their starting points, I'll ask them like for the training, are your implants below or above the muscle? That's a common question for me. And every now and then I go, I don't have implants. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't know they made them like that. Like, where I'm from, I can't remember the last time I saw.
Right, I'm from a plastic surgery capital of the United States, other than Los Angeles.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's funny because you're right. Like here, it's normal. I mean, literally, if you walk out anywhere, tights, shorts, you know, and you don't even think about it. Like I've never looked and been like, oh, look at that ass. I mean, she's wearing pants to me.
I know it's so normal. It's so normal. It's not even a thing, right?
Yeah.
But it was funny when you see how the Gen Pop reacts. I saw another great one on Twitter. I was going to ask you. I have to get to it because it has to do with the airlines.
Go.
There's a video. I don't know if you saw this. It kind of made the rounds on the news and all the websites of a guy. He's sitting in the back row of the plane.
Right.
And so his seat doesn't recline.
I hate that. Yep.
The seat in front of him, the lady reclines back.
Yes. So he can't even move away from her.
And so he can't move away, but he's punching her seat. Just fucking punching it. And he looks like he's going to lose his mind. He's like, fuck. And she's filming him. And she's kind of like, and her remark was, I paid for my seat. I have to recline it because the guy in front of me reclined.
Right.
I'm going to sleep this whole flight, and this guy's punching my seat.
Right.
So first of all, it's a guy punching a woman's seat.
Yeah, that's a problem all by itself.
And she put the video up, and I was completely blown away at how divided the response was.
Right.
Half the people said, you paid for that seat, it reclines, you can recline it.
Right.
The other half said, reclining is rude. No one should ever recline. The airline should make no reclining seats. This is fucking horrible behavior to do this to someone. His seat doesn't recline. She should think about him. And I was like, interesting question.
Right.
And I was blown away at how 50-50 it was. And the people who said she paid $800 for that seat and she wants to recline it, it only reclines 2 inches. It's fucking economy seat. It's not like she went back. But they're like, if she wants to recline it, that's her right. She paid for that seat. He should get in trouble for punching the seat.
Right.
Well, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, here, it's actually pretty simple to me. Like, number one, I do think he's an idiot for punching the seat, because I look at that as like, you know, now you're essentially making this a physical situation, you know, and I find if I want something, that's not how you get it.
Right.
You know, if someone were to ask me if there was any way I could not lean back because I'm 6'5", and when you do that, this happens, I'd be like, oh, okay. But it's kind of like, I look at it as the same scenario as if I'm backing out of a parking spot and the guy is laying on his horn, or if I'm at the gym and someone's waiting and hawking over the piece of equipment I'm using, that slows me down. It doesn't make me go faster. You know what I mean? So your behavior kind of plays a role in mine. And from an airline standpoint, I think that they should absolutely fucking lose their mind on that guy. Because, dude, it can only escalate because of what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if it was, I mean, if I was on that plane sitting anywhere near, he would have taken a verbal lashing for sure. Yeah. As he's beating the piss out of my mother's seat or whoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone's mother's seat. That's just ridiculous. But I think one thing with that factor is the way those planes are set up, we're literally like squeaking in one more seat or one more everything every year. I mean, they are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. There comes a point where the airline has to stop squeezing every penny and just understand, like, to me, his seat should be able to go back. Every seat should be able to go back if one can, because if not, I mean, it's how dominoes work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you reach a point where the one doesn't go, then it just takes the one asshole who got that seat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, there's ways around it, but I mean, I think it's ridiculous. But as far as was she wrong to recline? No. You know, absolutely not. I mean, that's what she has her seat for, and that's her comfort. Her job, I mean, is not to make him comfortable. So she has to be uncomfortable so he can be comfortable.
Right. That was the one response I got, because I actually commented. I said, there's no way I would ever ask someone to recline my seat, and I wouldn't expect anyone to ask me.
Yeah. And
then someone responded like, oh, look at this guy, all the juice making him entitled.
So it'd be the juice if you were smaller because you're white, and if you came from money, it's because you have money.
And I said, so I'm entitled because I want to recline the seat I paid for. I think you're entitled because you want me to not recline the seat I paid for.
Yeah, like I owe it to you.
Yeah, like entitled means you get something for free.
Yeah.
I paid for my seat. You didn't pay for my seat.
Yeah.
So I'm like a absolute unapologetic absolutionist on this one. If the seat reclines and you fucking paid for it, then the only thing stopping you is whether or not you don't want to recline. Like, let's say you have a fucking 6'5" basketball player behind you and he's having a real hard time. You'd say, listen, dude, I'll do you a fucking solid on this. And then maybe if you really want to sleep, I would probably say to the flight attendant, hey, listen, I got to recline, but this guy's 6'5". Is there any possible way you can find anyone that wants to switch seats with me? Someone who doesn't want to recline. Maybe they're working on their laptop.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just thought it was a crazy thing. I couldn't believe it was so divided.
Yeah, no, it always shocks me too when you see examples of people who just think one way that you don't even think is debatable. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I think anyone think that, and 50% of you think that. Holy shit!
Yeah, it was the shock. It was like the fitness girls with the pants.
Yeah,
This is fucking unacceptable.
yeah. Got it. Okay, Karen. By the way, you and your
Karen. Yeah,
crew
yeah.
can get the manager in here ASAP.
Okay, your turn. You go ahead.
All right, I got some more important shots here. Where did it go? Boom. Here we are. So I had to bounce into that weird section of my phone to find that, guys, because
Is that where all the porn is?
no, because he couldn't, for some reason, he couldn't like just answer correctly, so he sent me a DM, and so I literally responded back with, I'm like, ask in the box. He said it wouldn't fit.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that big. Relax. Relax. Okay, here's a good one, actually, kind of fun. What's a piece of bro science that you thought was real for the longest time?
Oh, fucking awesome question.
Right?
That's a whole episode.
I was going to say, as I read it, I thought of like 5. I was like, oh, those are quick.
Taking sodium out
Right.
is like playing Russian roulette.
Mm-hmm.
You take sodium out, there's like that window of time where someone just dries the fuck up sometimes, and then they suddenly just collapse into a puddle of fucking flatness.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's
a hell of a risk reward right there.
Yeah, that's like trying to hit a grand slam when all you need is a base hit. you know?
Yeah, Chris used to always tell me to shoot for 95%.
You know what?
He's
It's
like,
not bad.
because 95 is almost unbeatable. He said, and if you go for 100 and miss, you're at 80. And 80 is beatable.
I heard someone say that the reason Dexter Jackson has 6 Arnold Classics or 5?
I don't remember, but
it's the record.
He's the record wins of all time for wins total. So
someone told me the reason Dexter has the most wins, the most Arnolds, and an Olympia is because every once in a while, everyone else tries to hit grand slams, and the one guy comes up and just hits a nice base hit.
Yep.
And everyone else is like, fuck. And you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Dexter gets on base every fucking time, and you're going to win the odd game like that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of something that was just like similar analogy.
No, I totally get that. Because, yeah, I mean, Dexter's never done the
try to get fucking huge.
The 03 Coleman where you just walked out and it was over. Or 09J. So, no, I agree. So mine would be I used to be obsessed about the anabolic window. And the speed of proteins that had to be whey protein because whey protein digests faster. I had to have casein before bed because casein digests slower. And somehow in my mind, 50 grams of protein was not 50 grams of protein. So yeah, the anabolic window is definitely mine. Like I used to preach that shit when I worked at the stores. Like you must. I remember I'd get done training and I'd open my gym bag right then and there, like not even moving the piece of equipment.
On the floor.
The water in, shake it, drink it. Okay, now we can move on with life. I don't want to lose. I don't want to have any catabolism taking place.
Yeah. Now, I know it's not good evidence because I'm like much smaller and lighter than I used to be. But as far as the quality of my workouts and my strength and how much muscle I'm holding and all, everything I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I have been sort of accidentally sort of playing with that, like not eating for like 90 minutes.
Right.
And part of my thinking was, well, I used to train and then do 45 minutes of cardio for prep.
Right.
And then I'd drive home, which is another half hour.
Right.
And then I'd eat. And I didn't lose any muscle during those preps.
Yeah.
So I just sort of like, we finish training and I usually go work around the gym for an hour.
Right.
And then I'll have like a meal or a shake. And I actually think I got leaner because of it.
That makes sense, actually. I think that's one of those things. There's just so much overthinking. And I think what's most common about it is the people who, even myself back then, I was doing that while doing McDonald's 3 times a day.
Right.
But I was so concerned about that fucking anabolic window eating bullshit the rest of the fucking day. You know what I mean? So yeah, that'd easily be my mark. I'm the same way now. I never eat right after I train. It's not by any design. I train hard enough that I don't want whole food, and I only drink a shake a day.
Right.
So I just wait, because usually I want to go have a big meal after I train. So it'll be 45 minutes or so before I get to the restaurant. Then I order. Then I eat.
I also almost always have like a good solid meal an hour before training.
Right.
So like steak, chicken, rice, that sort of shit. And like steak takes 8 hours to digest and absorb. So you're not without aminos in your blood.
Yeah, I think that's where people fuck up is the mindset is it took me 5 minutes to eat, so it's 5 minutes, so it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how long it takes to break down that chicken, that steak, that whatever?
Yeah, with veggies and all the fiber.
It's never not. You know what I mean? Especially if you're eating 5 or 6 times a day. Basically, your body's working and they got food all day long. Same thing goes with the intra-workout thing. Like, I've done them. I've not done them. You can never tell the difference.
There's so many other bro science things like, I just had a client win her pro card on the weekend. Cass
Came in just
Gillis.
as we thought. Yeah, she looked awesome.
I got to thank you too. I don't want to never ever give credit. I sent Dusty a couple sets of pictures and I said, "Hey Dusty, I think she looks great, but because you have a lot more experience with NPC judges,
right?
And with the new way the NPC and the IFBB have put out these guidelines."
Yeah,
I thought, because figure up in Canada was always a little different up until just recently when the kind of federations merged, right?
Yep.
And so figure in Canada was always like the shredded girls would win every time. Like the more shredded, the better.
Yep.
And of course, I'm hardcore. I like everyone to be shredded.
Yeah.
So I sent you pictures a few times. I was like, is she getting too hard? Like, and you were like, she looks fucking awesome. And I was like, okay. Because, you've done a lot more U.S. figure girls, right?
Yep.
And I thought it's going to be some of those judges. And then when I saw the live stream, they panned the judging panel. I recognized like 4 of the judges. They were right from this. They were right from the US.
We're going to be fine.
People I seen at North Americans and stuff judging. I was like, okay, we'll be okay. So thanks for that. Cause your outside opinion on just like she looks ready. Is she ready? You're like, she's pretty much ready. Like,
I remember when you sent the video and she was turning, I saw the glutes flicker. I'm like, there we go. Just enough. Just enough.
So she was eating fucking squirrely bread, like, sprouted grain bread.
Yeah.
She's having at one point, she's having 4 slices of bread a day for her carbs. She's like, can I change this rice to bread? And I'm like, give it a shot. And
we'll see.
She's perfectly fine.
Yep.
And just she also said to me about a week out, she goes, I'm sort of nervous because you're too calm.
You're not panicked. That has me worried.
and so I realize that happens with me sometimes. That's a problem. Is my clients are worried that I'm not doing enough because they're used to their coach changing 20 things a week out.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, you look good. Send me pics in the morning. And they're like, so what are we changing? I'm like, nothing. And they're like, but we're 6 days out. And I'm like, yeah.
And you look awesome.
You look awesome. Last Wednesday we were 10 days out. You looked awesome then. I didn't change anything. Like,
you know what I get sometimes? It's so funny. Is in the same realm. I've got a few guys right now, probably literally like 4, where I do check-ins every 5 days in the off season. Okay. I just like the communication. It's overkill as far as seeing, but I want to be
keeps them fresh.
The mix. Yeah,
keeps them fresh right up here in the lobe.
Well, and they know you're in. So I've got about 4 guys right now that I've had to say, I promise I'm not being lazy. But dude, you're changing so fast. I'd be dumb to change anything. I have to say it because I don't want them to be like, fuck, it's been 20 days. We've changed literally nothing other than the fact that I keep improving. So it's like, I look at the pictures. I'm like, well, maybe next week it'll slow down, but I hope not because fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah. That's a funny thing. They expect a lot of changes, but sometimes a good coach doesn't change anything. It's like one of my favorite sayings about a good drummer.
Right.
A good drummer knows when not to drum.
Valid, which is the same with this.
And if you listen to AC/DC, that's what Phil Rudd was. He was just a perfect rock drummer. He's not there to put the show on. He's, you know what I mean? There's space in the drumming.
Yeah.
And that's a good coach. You got to be able to know when not to do anything.
Yeah, well, and you can't be afraid that you can't. The only thing that I will change when that starts to happen is, and I learned this from Chris actually because he told me he made a mistake one time. Chris has, I believe, 3 shows, might be 4, that he openly has a hard time with, where he knows he made a mistake. And at least 2 of those where things were going too well, and they just kind of stopped watching. or like really being on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when things are a mess, you're fucking on it because you're like, dude, we got to pull this off. We got 6 hours. You got to lose 10 pounds. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. So the only thing I will change at that point is I start asking for pictures even more often.
Yeah.
Because I don't want there to be, they went flat 4 days ago, but I don't know about it.
Right.
You know, so when things are really cranking, I'm like, give me pictures tomorrow.
Well, I often tell people about the first time I worked with Chris. It was 6 weeks out. He was getting frustrated because the body stalled.
Right.
And I said, are we going to change anything? He goes, yeah, you're going to send me pictures every single morning from here to the show. And I was like, done.
Yeah.
And it was there was points where I thought he was going to say, okay, just send me pictures Wednesday. But no, I said every fucking morning for 6 weeks straight.
Yep.
And I wound up at that point, I wound up the fucking best I'd ever been, you know?
Yep.
So that's how it works.
That same routine, but it is funny how that locks in because I think that's the other problem is I've learned, thankfully, clients are great at teaching coaches what they don't do. I didn't used to say anything unless there were problems.
Right.
So they would send their check-ins. I'm like, cool, everything looks good. Send me pictures in 5 days. And then if there was a problem, I'd start asking more questions. How was the water yesterday? How was this? How was this? So, and you know who taught me this was my massage therapist. One day I got done and I was like, and I've been seeing her for years. And I said, man, I feel great today now that we're done. And she goes, you do? I said, yeah, real good, thanks. She goes, I've always wondered if you thought I was any good because you never say anything. And I was like, well, I keep coming back.
Right.
I assumed that was, you know, and that was like a light bulb to me because I do that with everything.
Right.
I was like, fuck, I need to learn to tell people when things are good because they may not know that they're good, you know, because I'm thinking, you're phenomenal. Are you kidding me? Of course I've been seeing you every single week for years. Right. You're the best. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it never registered to me that I needed to say anything because I'm like, I assumed she knew she was the best.
My money was telling you.
Yeah. And my referrals.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing. So those are two of the things I've really learned with that is like, man, you have to tell people because when you do that actually puts them in a state of ease, which I thought their own pictures would have already done. I'm like,
right. And that goes back to like, there's all these different types of people that, you know, some people respond well to compliments, whereas some people respond well to like positive criticism or constructive criticism. Yep. Other people don't respond well to criticism at all.
Yeah.
Like, so, and you know, so we're so used to ourselves because we put we're dealing with ourselves when we prep.
Yeah.
And I don't say anything good about myself the whole fucking diet.
Yeah. Exactly. I just told the kid the other day, I was like, or it was Cole Eastfold. I told him, I said, yeah, there's about 10 pictures I've ever seen of myself that I was like, oh, look good.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Over 15 years, I've got 10 photos.
And I just keep refiltering them for Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to make it black and white today. See if anyone notices. Wish I would have grown the beard out years ago. Fuck.
Photoshop a bandana so it looks like a different, change the year.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You got one? Want to do one more?
Yeah, why not? You know, actually, I'm going to go with one from last week.
You got a non-bodybuilding one? If you do.
I actually, I think I actually do. Okay, yeah, I do actually here. It's a semi non-bodybuilding one.
Perfect. Everything we're about.
You know, so here's the question. How do you survive as a bodybuilder and in a relationship if your significant other does not understand the sport?
Am I supposed to be honest?
Yes. Your honesty is key here, Ron.
It's not about bodybuilding. It's about when you use the word doesn't understand, that implies to me that there's a bit of a negative
for sure
reaction there, right?
Yep.
You know, because Emily's really into house music, but I don't have a problem with it.
Right. Like
at all. You know, she went to a house music show with her cousin on Saturday. I'm like, go have a good time. I'm going to go to the gym and build a deadlift platform.
Right. I'm not going to come do that with you, but yeah.
Yeah, which is how I spent my Saturday. So basically, I had another viewer tell me that basically makes me Evan Centopani now that I'm building things. Right.
In my eyes.
Okay. I would say that I don't think relationships work if your significant other isn't really cool with what you do. They don't have to be into it.
Right.
They don't have to want to do it, but they got to be cool with it. There's got to be a positive vibe there.
Right.
It's got to be like, oh, baby, you could do this. Like, fuck, let's just hang in there. Let's see how you look next week. They don't even have to have anything to do with it. They can be like, what did your coach say? Like, how's your coach? Like, but if they're negative about it, I just don't see it working. But that's me. I'm not able to make those things work. They have to work a little easier.
Right. No, I agree. I don't think huge lessons I've learned over the years are you got to take care of you first.
Yeah, you got to pay yourself first.
Proponent of like getting behind somebody doing all their shit. But with that in mind, then part of putting yourself first is if anybody brings you backwards against your goals, you've got an issue. I had a client just recently tell me, he's like, oh, I'm really locked in, and my girlfriend is really supportive, but she wants us to go out on the weekends. And part of that was she wants him to eat with her. And I'm like, well, then she's not supportive.
Right.
I'd be like me saying, yeah, absolutely, Ron, go to the gym. And then when you're gone, I'm a cunt when you get home because you went to the gym. No, I agree. I just don't think it should be that hard. Relationships shouldn't be that hard. If something's important to you, then if it doesn't work, they'll find someone that fits them better, and so will you.
Yeah.
Agreed. So yeah, that's the. I love when people ask advice for like relationships and stuff. I'm like, I'm not really good at those, but I'll tell you what I think.
I remember I had a girlfriend a long time ago. I remember I asked her out at the gym,
right?
And I said, hey, would you give me your number? And she looked me right in the eye and she's like, do you do steroids? And I go, yeah. And she goes, okay.
Checked your honesty first, huh?
And I was like, okay, she knows that much about me, the whole bodybuilder thing. She gets it. Right. She just wanted to double check.
See, I look at that as a test for honesty too.
Yeah, and then there was never ever a problem. We never had a problem. Supported me in the gym and the competing and all that was fine. Came to my shows, cheered, awesome.
Right.
Never a problem. You know what I mean? So it was just funny. But it was like, that opening moment was just funny to me. I was like, yeah. I thought she knew already because the gym was full of fucking monkeys, but
hello, I'm the silverback, so
oh man. Well, it's been
awesome,
good, Dusty. I actually feel like we could chat for another half an hour, but my bladder is just fucking bursting.
You're getting older.
I got a whole liter of water in me. This is empty, so.
Yeah, well, I drank your favorite today.
Yeah, we got to talk. Need to make. I don't know, how much is that a bottle? It seems like
$1.25 when they're on sale.
Okay.
Find a way.
I thought they were like $3, so that was like rich people drank those.
Oh God, no, I'm too cheap for that. $3 when they're full price. I can't. I don't even like to pull the trigger when they're 2. I'm like,
you're like, I buy knockoff Perriers. These are just resale bottles.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. $3 a bottle. You fucking crazy.
Okay.
All right, man. Until next time.
Yeah, remember everybody. Subscribe, like, comment, share. We come out on Wednesdays, and we really appreciate everybody. And again, we're now on Spotify. So we're just trying to find ways to just fucking work our way into your day.
We're infiltrating.
Yes. Can't wait. Remember, Arm Day, you can listen to us. We're not opposed to that. And obviously cardio sessions all around the world. Thanks, Dusty. Episode 27 in the books. We got a cool guest next week. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Hardcore. Little fucking hardcore. We're going to have some good. You might need subtitles.
I have no idea what he just said, but he seemed serious.
Yeah. Okay. Remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.